Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to complete our discussion about the form, and now we're going to see other different types of the input fields. So let's get started. I'm going to copy these and then I'm going to paste them down here. And now I need to add a password field and a phone number field. So first I'm going to add the password and then copy it and then paste it in here. And paste it in here and also in here. Now you need to change the type from text to password. Now as I write in my input field, you can see the characters which I'm writing. So this is the type password. Now I need also to have another input field where I can add my phone. So I need this input field to accept only numbers. Phone and then phone. Now in order to do so, I'm going to change the type from text to number. And as you can see, now I'm writing alphabet characters and it's not displayed, but if I write numbers, it's now displaying. And you can also add the numbers from up here and decrease them from down here. Okay, now let's add radio buttons to our web page. And you should know that when adding radio buttons to your web page, the user is allowed to pick only one choice. It's either true or false. The user is not allowed to pick the two choices. So let's get started. Label. Let's say that I'm going to make the user select his gender. So label and then male and then for male, and then come in here, input type radio, ID male, and the name male. And then I'm going to take these and then paste it. Make a line break between my elements. Okay. And another line break. And then change the male to female. Okay. Now, what I've actually done here is very wrong. Let's check out why. Because now I can select both male and female, and this is wrong. We only need the user to select and pick only one choice. So in order to do that, we have to make our names in the radio buttons the same. So gender, and come in here and gender as well. So your name in both radio buttons should be the same. Now when I pick male and then go back to pick female, I'm only allowed to pick only one choice. So now I've picked female and let's submit our form. Now as you can see, gender is set to on. On means checked. And this is a problem actually, because now gender is on, but I don't know what did the user pick. Did he pick male? Did he pick female? I don't know. It's just checked. So in order to submit the value itself, we need to use the value attribute. So let's come in here and then add the value attribute male. And also here value female. Now let's send back female, submit. And now gender equal female. So now I can know what did the user pick specifically. Okay. Now let's move on and add our checkboxes. Now, unlike the radio buttons, the checkboxes allow the user to select multiple choices, to pick multiple choices. Now in order to save your time, I've added a few checkboxes over here, and the difference between the checkbox and the radio button is the type itself. So I'm going to add another checkbox with you. Okay, so let's take the radio button in here and then add it. So now I'm going to just copy my label and put it below the input. Okay. Now first of all, I'm going to change the radio checkbox and then the ID. Let's say Python, and then copy and paste it in here, paste it in here, and the name is going to be course 5. Now these checkboxes are a set of courses and the user is allowed to pick as many courses as he wants. Okay. So now, if I pick HTML, CSS, and Python, I can pick as many choices as I want and then send. Now, course 1 HTML, course 2 CSS, and course 5 Python. And these courses, course 1, course 2, course 3, they are the name which I've added in here. And HTML, CSS, and so on came from the value. Now let's say that I need some checkboxes to be already checked by default, so that when the form is displayed to the user, I need these checkboxes to be already checked. So in order to do that, we're going to use the checked attribute. All you have to do is just to come to your input and then add checked. Now as you can see, the HTML has been already checked. And let's go to the CSS and checked. Now, this checked attribute can also be used with the radio buttons, so let's check the mail. And as you can see now, when the form is first displayed to the user, we can see that mail, HTML, and CSS are already checked by default. However, you can uncheck them if you want, and you can change the radio button from male to female. It's up to you. Now, let's check out some other types of input. Let's say that we need to add a date, for example, so label and then pick a date and then for, and let's add our input, and now our type will be yes, date. You guessed it right. Now ID, date, and the name, date. Now you can pick your date. A calendar has been displayed, and okay, and then send. And now the date, and here's our value. Okay, now let's check out some other input types. Let's say that we want to upload a file. So in order to do that, we're going to use input and then type file, and then the ID, file, and name, file. Now when you click on choose file, as you can see, all my files have been displayed, and I can pick, for example, cover letter and then send, and as you can see, file, cover letter. Okay. But what if I need to control the type of the file which the user is going to send? I need to accept only images, for example. So in order to do that, we're going to use the accept attribute and then images, image, and then asterisk. Now the asterisk specifies that we are accepting all the type of images because we have PNG, JPG, and so on. So this asterisk over here clarifies that we are accepting any type of image. So now when we select choose file, now as you can see, only the images have been displayed. And that's because we have clarified that we only accept image. Now what if I also need to accept, for example, a PDF? So comma dot PDF. Now when we select choose file, we should have our images and also PDF files. So now as you can see, the PDF files and the images. Okay, so now, and then send, and as you can see, it has been sent. So this is the usage of the accept attribute. It controls the type of the file which you need the user to send. Okay, let's check out some other elements. Now we have the select element, and the select element creates a drop-down list. So in order to do that, select, and then as you can see, this is our select. Now it's very small because we need to add options. We need to add our choices inside it. So select, and then you add option, and then let's say that it's going to be a drop-down list for countries. So we have Italy, Egypt, and Spain, and for example England. And as you can see, there's our options. Okay, now when we select, for example, Spain and then send, let's go in here, and as you can see, nothing has been sent. Why? Because we need our name attribute. We've mentioned that without the name attribute, nothing is going to be sent. Now let's say country. Okay, and now let's send Egypt, and then send, and as you can see, country equal Egypt. Okay, did you notice that in case we didn't add a value in here, Egypt has been sent successfully? Okay, although we didn't add our value, but it has taken the value from here. Okay, now is this quite right? Well, if you didn't add a value in here, each option should take a value. If you didn't add the value, it's going to take the content inside the option itself. However, it's preferred to add a value to avoid any future error. So let's add the value, and let's say here Italy. And you're going to see that when we add the value, it's going to take the value in here. So the value is the priority. Spain, and then value England. Now let's select Spain and then send. Country equals Spain. It has taken Spain value from here. Okay, because here the S capital and here the S small. Now it has taken this one, Spain. So in case you didn't give each option a value, it's going to take the content inside the option itself. However, to avoid any future error, it's preferred to use the value, and the priority is going to be to the value which we add inside our option tag. Okay, now let's check out some other element, which is the text area. And the difference between the text area and the input field is that the text area can take much more characters. Okay, now in the text area, you can specify how many rows and columns you want your text area to occupy. So let's say rows 10. Okay, and as you can see, it has changed, and columns to 50. Okay, now we have the name attribute, which is the most important attribute, and let's give it a name, additional information info. Okay. Now we have also an attribute called placeholder, and the placeholder gives the user a hint. Okay, so it gives him a hint so that the user can know what should he add inside the text area. So let's say, for example, enter additional info. Okay, now as you can see, this is our placeholder, this is our hint, and once we start typing, it will disappear. Now you should notice that, for example, in case we come in here and we make space and add some text. Okay, now this placeholder is not going to be displayed. Why? Because the text area is a container. It contains content inside it, unlike the input field. The input field doesn't take anything inside it. So you should be careful. In case you add some content inside here, your placeholder is not going to be displayed. Okay, so you need to make sure that there's no content inside the text area so that your placeholder can be appeared to the user. Now we also have input of different type called reset, type reset, which is also a button. Sorry, not rest, reset. Okay, now the reset button over here will clear all your fields. For example, let's add in here Adam and then John and a password and then phone. Okay, now I've added elements inside my input fields. So now let's go and click reset, and as you can see, it has cleared my input fields. And you can also change the name of the reset text value, and let's display to clear. Okay, now our text has changed to clear. So in today's video we've covered different types of the input, and that's it for today's video. And in the next video we're going to talk about some additional attributes, but however, that's it for now, and see you guys in the next video.